Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm doing the bedtime book tag. So I am nicking this one off of Becca. She didn't tag me, but she did do this tag right as I kid you not, I think I just sent a message to Tori and Vicky and Pia and Bobby to be like, I need to pre-film and I have no ideas. And up popped Becca's little notification because I subscribe to Becca's channel and have the bell on, and so should you, to be like, Becca's uploaded a video, and it was a tag video, and I was like, that's a quick one I can pre-film because I'm away on holiday next week as I'm filming this, and so I need to pre-film some videos so that I can have some videos, or a video, 2 videos. I think I need to pre-film 2 videos. Anyway, Becca has this uncanny ability to put up fun tags when I desperately need ideas. So thank you, Becca, for doing, I would say, the Lord's work, but I'm not religious, but you know what I mean. So I will tag Becca down below, and also the original creator of this is Books with Kelly. I did go and check out her channel, but it seems to be like a totally blank channel, so I'm not entirely sure. I will put her thing down there, but I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Anyway, so there are 10 questions here, and it is a tag video, so of course there will be books to answer questions to. Questions will also be down there as well if you want to do this tag. Yep, we've narrowed for long enough, Andy. Let's just get into the tag. The first question is, what book kept you up all night? And I feel like I need to preface this with an apology for Jem. Again, because I have to say, pick any book in the Casket Girls series, because I struggled to put these books down. Look at the size of these. These are not. This is the first book, and this is one of the smaller books. As you get through the series, these books get chunky. I mean, this is already like 560 pages long, and they are on KU. So I was reading them on Kindle, and literally I was sitting like in the dark with my phone, just like reading, because I could not put this book down. I could not put any of these books down. Every time I thought I got to, like, because it's multi-POV, like you get to the end of a chapter and you're like, well, now I need to find out what happens. But then you switch POV in the next chapter to a different character, so then you're like trying to like get through that chapter to go back to the like one character to find out what happened to them. But then the next character's one ends on a cliffhanger, so then you're just like in a constant loop of trying to figure out, like trying to get to the end of a chapter to find out what happens to these characters. And honestly, Alice Arden has such a talent for writing. These books, I was never bored. Never once was I bored. This is such a sensory like masterpiece. I cannot not praise this book so highly. These, honestly, I could go on about the Casket Girls forever. I am so looking forward to the Immortal St. Germain coming out. Alice has been talking about it on her Instagram. She has been at the computer writing it, so hopefully it will be coming out soon, because Jem, when that book gets released, I will be making you buddy read all of them with me. We will get through these books if we have to do it, one book at a time, to read this series. There are only 5 books in the series, and the 5th one has not been released yet, and it was supposed to be released 2 years ago. So yeah, Jem introduced me to this, and then I overtook her reading them, because these books are incredible and I love them so much. So yeah, could not put them down to sleep. The next question is, what book made you scared to go to sleep? And I have to thank Vicky for this one, because that is The Last Astronaut by David Wellington. And yeah, this book literally gave me nightmares. Literally gave me nightmares. It is a sci-fi book, but it's like, it's not even sci-fi horror. Is it sci-fi horror? It might be sci-fi horror. Horror. I can't say that word. Can't say that word. I'm too Scottish. Yeah. It's not like proper horror, but like there was just something about it that disturbed me. Like there was just So yeah, there was bits of this where I had to like read on until I found like an innocuous bit in the book to then go to sleep. It was not it was a good book. I really enjoyed it, but yeah, that was pushing it when it comes to my level of availability for horror. Next question is, what book almost put you to sleep? And I feel like I'm gonna anger people when I say this. Please don't come for me. Please don't come for me. I'm gonna need you to pinky promise me you're not gonna come for me before I say anything here. Are we good? But I literally, with book in hand while reading this, was like I was going cross-eyed reading this book because it was putting me to sleep. And I had to get the audiobook, and it was the boring audiobook before they got the good audiobook. You'll see what I mean in a second. To read this book because of, oh my god, were you paid by the word? Because like, anyway, I'll pull the plaster off, Andy. Pull the plaster off. It's Lord of the Rings. Yes, Lord of the Rings. Did I read this in 2020? I think I read this with the first whatever-a-thon. And it was the first magical readathon. I don't remember. But I struggle bust through this bitch. Oh my god. Oh my god. The thing is, I love the movies. I will sit and watch all 3 movies, one after the other, for 12 hours straight. And I love it. Like, I love these movies. And I love it. My god, the books are like tediously boring. I'm just like, how many ways can you describe the colour of a leaf? Because I tell you, J.R.R. Tolkien found them all. And then some. It's like, the prose just absolutely sent me. And the thing is, look at the... Don't take me out. Look at the size of the text in that. Like, this book sent me to sleep while I was reading it. I had to put the audiobook in to read along while I listened to the audiobook to keep me awake while reading this book. That was the only thing that got me through it. But that was before they had the Andy Serkis ones. But now I want to listen to the Andy Serkis ones because Andy Serkis is an excellent narrator. But yeah, these books were almost the end of me. Which is hilarious because I absolutely adore The Hobbit. I loved The Hobbit. I thought it was so incredible. And I read The Hobbit before I read these. And I was so excited to dive into these because The Hobbit is one of my favourite classics. I love The Hobbit. I think the description, the prose, everything about it was incredible. But dear God, did this just about put me in a coma. Try to read this. Like, sir, you could have made this into one book. You did not need this level of description. Like, this is like back in the day when they were literally being paid per word. Or per, you did not... I'm sorry, I know this is a lot of people's favourites. Like, how do you get through it? And high fantasy is just not my thing. Like, there's... This is so slow and so meandering that it just, like... It sends me off. It really sends me off. I need, like, the audiobook. My eyes can't do it. Next is question 4. What book had you tossing and turning in anticipation for its new release? So I've kind of gotten 2 for this. So the first is Daydream, which is not released yet. It is released this month, and I'm so excited. I was so excited when the release was announced for this. Because it is the 3rd book in this series. So Icebreaker is the first one, and Wildfire is the second one, and Daydream is the 3rd one, and Daydream follows my favourite male character, but he's one of the hockey boys, because they're all, like, it's basically about the hockey team. Like, each book follows a different member of the hockey team, and Daydream follows Henry, and Henry is my favourite. Like, I love Henry so much. Like, I don't know if it's been said explicitly. I've been reading so many hockey romances, like college hockey romances and NHL hockey romances, that they're all starting to blur together a little bit. But like, it just, like, in my head for minute details of side characters and stuff like that, but I don't know if it's been said explicitly or not, but it might be said explicitly in his book. But for these books, Henry to me reads as an autistic character, or he's autistic coded. Like, his behaviours are very much, I'm expecting, I cannot remember if it's actually been said, but I suspect that Henry may be autistic. And he's just such a bean, and that's nothing to do with him being autistic. It isn't like, I'm not I don't mean it in a way that I'm infantilising him because he's autistic. What I mean is, like, he is exceptionally caring, and he is exceptionally honest, and he has an exceptionally strong sense of justice. And those things in a person, to me, just, like, they just make them my favourite person. Like, he's such a kid, but at the same time, he's so blunt and, like, misses, like, certain things, like, he misses minute details that are going on around him because he's too busy hyper-focusing on the thing right in front of him. So, like, he's so busy in this one, like, so busy focusing on Stassi that he's missing what's going on with the girl that's trying to flirt with him. Despite the fact that he has no interest in Stassi as, like, a love interest, he sees her as, like, a sister. He sees her as, like, somebody he looks up to. And so he cares about her so much as a friend that when she's in a position where she may get hurt, nothing else matters. He is laser focused on making sure she is okay. Despite the fact that most college-age guys would be more focused on the girl that's trying to, like, plant herself in their lap. And he is just like, yeah, like, in a minute. I'm just like, Henry, you sweet, sweet, sweet boy. He's not a boy, he's a man. But, like, I'm just like, Henry, you sweetheart, I love you so much. Like, I love Henry. He has got the biggest heart of anybody in these books. Like, I love him so much, but I also, on top of that, suspect he is autistic based on a lot of the characteristics he shows within these books and things that are dropped and said into the book. I'm not even sure if it may be like explicitly said, or maybe that she's holding it back to say it in his books, because there is also, like, one of their ex-team members, who is now the assistant coach, is in a wheelchair, and they have the house is adapted for him to use his wheelchair. So, like, there is disability rep in this. I think it's this one that's got the disability rep. It's either this one or... I don't think it is this one. I'm fairly sure it's this one. One of the other ones I was reading, one of the guys, different author, one of the guys has an assistance dog. It's, like, the disability rep is thingied into these books as well, layered in, even though we're going to talk about them later on, if that makes sense. I'm spiraling out of control here. Anyway, yeah, so I cannot wait for Daydream because it's Henry's book, and Henry is my favourite character. And yeah, I'm so excited to see how Hannah Grace does autism rep, because so far I think she's done such great representation with these characters in here and the different ways, the different rep that she's had in here. And so far with Henry's character, from what we've seen in these two books, I think she has treated him very well. If we are going on the assumption that he is autistic, I think she's treated him very well, and I'm so excited to see how she does it from his point of view. Now, the second answer that I have for that, the one I actually have, the book I actually have, is The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. This is the book, I don't know why, don't ask me why, it doesn't make sense, but from the minute I finished Fangirl Down, I have been waiting for this book. I could not think about this book without feeling sick with anticipation for this book. Like, I needed to get this book on my TBR this month because I needed to read this book as soon as I got my hands on it. And I have now read it, and it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint, let me tell you. I don't know what it is about these characters, but from the moment we met them in Fangirl Down, I was obsessed. And I needed their story, and I was so devastated when I read Fangirl Down, and it was like, yeah, we'll get this one in August. And I was like, excuse me? You want me to wait till August? Bear in mind, I think Fangirl Down was released in, like, January or February. Maybe even, like, it was released in, like, the first quarter of the year. And we were getting this in like the third quarter of the year. So like, it's not even that long. And I was being like a spoiled brat about it, being like, no, I want it now. And whenever I saw anybody that had an arc of it, I was like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you as a person. Because you have a book I desperately want. I could not tell you logically why this is the book that my brain just hooked in on, but this is the book that I have been absolutely, like, waiting to get my hands on. And I finally have it and I've read it, and yeah, I just I've been so excited for this book. So yeah. Question 5 is, what book has your dream boyfriend? I think we all know where we're going with this. If you have been on my channel for any length of time, if you are one of my friends, I think we all know where we're going with this. And I don't know whether or not to apologise for what's about to happen. There's a car outside playing very loud music. I apologise. Reckless by Elsie Silver. I actually said Silva, not Silver, because I'm that excited. Because Theo Silva. That Theo freaking Silva. If there's not someone screaming about Theo Silva, I'm dead. Because Theo Silva. Bobby, you know what I mean now. You finally know what I mean because you've read this book now. Theo Silva. Cade is great and everything, but Theo Silva. That man. That is a man. Like, that is a man. Like, no man will ever live up to this man. No man. No IRL man. No man in real life could be Theo Silva. Men wish they could be Theo Silva. Like, he is a standard. It's a good thing I'm married and to a woman, because Elsie has wrecked all standards for men by creating Theo Silva. I mean, to be fair, any of the guys really from her series, but Theo Silva, like I say, if there are no Theo Silva stands in the world, it's because I'm dead. This book, like everybody and their dog now is reading the Chestnut Spring series. I am kicking myself for not reading it earlier. I love this series. We all know I love this series. But Theo Silva. Like, everybody loves Cade. Everybody loves Cade, and he deserves the love. He absolutely deserves the love. Like, Cade is daddy, we get it. And if you've read the books, you understand why I'm saying that. And if you don't, you're like, Andy, you've never said anything like that in your life. It's a reference to the books, not... I would never say that if it wasn't in reference to the books. There's a point. There's a point to me saying that. But Theo Silva. Oh my god. I cannot. Just bury me with his book. Just like in my coffin. Next is question 6, and that is, what book would be a nightmare to live in? I scoured my shelves because part of my problem is that I have so many contemporary books, and like mostly contemporary urban fiction. So like, I was looking over at my historical fiction and I was like, so many of these are set in World War II, that would kind of be hell. And I was looking at my fantasy shelves and I was like, which one of these fantasy worlds would I immediately have absolutely no chance in? And I came to the conclusion, the one where I would last the least amount of time, if I were to be like supplanted into the world, powers or no powers, would probably be the Shatter Me world. I'm not even kidding. I looked at all of my books and I was like, yeah, I'd be out. I'd be dead. I'd be like, I would be done for. I can't run. I can't hide. I can't do anything military. I'm done for. Like, at least in the Hunger Games world, I would have kind of a chance to lay low in one of the districts. But like, Shatter Me, like I'd be out, man. I'd be done. Adam Warner would have like done away with me like ages ago. I would just be, I would not be I'd be gone. So this is, yeah. The rest of them I'd have like a standard chance of like maybe a little bit. But this one, I'd be, marked so fast. Question 7 is, what book reminds you of nighttime? And this is going to seem like such a cop-out, but I'm going to try and explain it to you, right? It seems dumb to start with, but I'm going to try and explain my brain to you, right? Okay, it's a very messy place in there, so you're going to have to bear with me. I have gone for the Night World series by L.G. Smith. Now, is it just because it has the word night in the title? No. It may seem like that's why, but no. There's this mental image and this mental feeling that I get. This ambience, almost. So, you know, when I think of these books, it's this. So, do you know those ambient rooms you get on YouTube, where it's like the ambient rooms? If I was to pick what my brain does when I think about these books, if someone says Night World or if someone talks about these books, my brain immediately switches on almost this ambient room in there, right? And it's like almost like this noir setting with like soft jazz, and it's black and white, and there's like rain in the background, and it's like nighttime. That is the feeling, that is the sensation that goes through my brain when I think about the Night World books. I do not know why. I cannot put my finger on it, but every time, like, if I'm looking at all my books, that is the sensation I get when I look at this books. It's almost like, you know how people talk about synesthesia, and that the thing where like people think that people have that thing where like colours may have tastes or sounds associated with them, or emotions, or like, you know, for some reason, like that vibe sort of thing, when I look at certain books, they give me certain vibes. And this one, for some reason, has that noir. I don't know if it's because of like the type of covers. Like, it looks like a very like noir-esque setting. You can imagine like the smooth jazz softly playing, the rain going, like maybe a slight storm in the background. Like, that's the vibe that I get. So this just had to be the answer. Question 8 is, what book has a nightmarish cliffhanger? And oh boy, is there only one book on my shelves that I reach for when, well, there's more than one that I could have reached for, but there's one that's very, very prevalent in my discussions online at the moment, and that is Armadillo by Jian J. Zhao, and they have just won an award for their work, which very well recognised for that work, and as they said, they would like to use their platform to bring to the fore again the plight of the people of Gaza and the Gaza Strip and what they are going through. They are still in a position that is untenable. There are certain words that I probably can't say due to the YouTubes, but if you go onto Jian's Instagram, I'll put their Instagram down below. They have a link tree which has resources to help fundraise for families from Gaza, and they're still running fundraisers and things like that to try and help them, because again, like I said, they are in an untenable position right now. That's not even, untenable is not the right word, but it is the closest sort of safe internet word that I can find right now in my head. So yeah, it is something that is still ongoing in that part of the world. It is something that we have to continue to talk about, that we have to continue to pay attention to, something that will not stop until we continue to put pressure on our politicians on the world stage. So that is what Jiren decided to use their platform when they won their award to put a spotlight on, and I feel like that is, you know, that is just who they are through and through, the kind of person they are, and to honour that, since I'm mentioning their book, I would like to also bring a spotlight to that. So like I say, I will put their Instagram down in the description, and if you go onto their Instagram, they have lots of reels and things like that with the stories of these families and what's happening in Gaza, and also a link tree to help with fundraisers for the families and other families who have managed to escape but are now without any resources, any income, anything. They left with the clothes on their back and not much more. So we are very lucky sitting right now able to, you know, be comfortable in our homes, safe, without the threat of violence in such a way as it is over there. So the least we can do is put our eyes there, put our thoughts there, and try and do something to help. But back to the tag. Yeah, this book definitely landed on a hell of a cliffhanger at the end, and as you probably are aware if you have been living under a rock, the sequel to this has been delayed ad nauseum. It is currently due to come out in December, but we shall see. So yeah, the cliffhanger has just gotten continuously worse because the book has been continuously delayed. Question 9 is, what book have you actually dreamed about? Now this again is a kind of weird one, and I feel like I need to preface this by saying there may be spoilers for this book, so if you haven't read it, like, I don't know if I can help you because it's an oldie. It's an oldie. 2006. So yeah. And that is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. And then again, I looked around my books and there was not another one that I could really bring to the fore of my mind that I have dreamed about. But I have dreamed about this in a way that has stuck with me to this day. Now, like I say, mild spoilers for this book. There's a part of this book where, I believe it's this book, where she has this dream where she is in the forest and she is, I think it's this one. I might be wrong, but there's in one of the books, I think it's this one. She's in the forest and she's running. And she's running, I can't remember if she's running after Edward or away from someone, but she's running in the forest. And she loses sight of him. And she stops to try and like figure out what's going on. And then she just has this overwhelming feeling of knowing that she is lost and that there is no one there and that she is completely and utterly alone. Like, there is nobody for miles and she is just alone and lost in the forest. And she has this empty feeling. And I, for some reason, while I was reading this book, when I was younger, I started having that dream, that nightmare, and she would wake up screaming. And I'm pretty sure this happened after Edward leaves, so I'm pretty sure it's in this book. But I started having that dream. Like, I was in the forest and I was alone and I was lost and I would wake up screaming. And it was when my cousin was staying with me and my mum, and he would come like battering into my room because he could hear me screaming, and I had to explain to him that I was just having a nightmare. It scared the bejesus out of him. But yeah, I could not wake myself up from it. It felt so real, and I woke up and I felt that horrible, empty feeling, that you were alone. Like, it was horrible. So yeah, I don't know if that counts as like dreaming about the book, but like I had the same dream, like exactly the same dream that she was having. I just started having it on a loop and it was horrible. It didn't stop until I finished the book and read something else. So yeah, talk about a really vivid imagination at that point. And finally, question 10 is, what fictional monster would you not like hiding under your bed? I mean, I feel like saying The Last Astronaut again, because that would just, I feel like they would be pretty innocuous on Earth. I don't know. I feel like I just wouldn't like to be face to face with that. Ever. Yeah, no, I wouldn't like to be face to face with that. But not reuse something. I'm also going to say Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. So Vampire Academy goes off of more Russian Slavic folklore for vampires. So you have 3 different types of vampire. You have the Moroi, the Strigoi, and the Dhampir. And the Moroi are like the good vampires. So they are the ones that, like, they've got the pale skin, they're beautiful, they're kind of tall and slim, and they are physically quite weak. And they are the, like, more elite of the world, and they drink blood, but they don't kill to drink the blood. They are more civilized. They have a civilized society, they go to Vampire Academy, things like that. You know, they are the civilized, they are more human. The Dhampir are a hybrid species, so they are hybrid between human and Moroi, or human and Dhampir. They are kind of like mules, they cannot reproduce on their own, so like Dhampir to Dhampir relationships will never produce a baby. They are very much hybrid breeds, and they are built stronger, stockier, they protect the Moroi, they are the warriors, that's what they do. They are bodyguards for the Moroi because the Moroi are a lot more delicate. And then there are the Strigoi, and these are the ones that I don't want under my bed. The Strigoi are the vampires of your nightmare. They are strong, they are fast, they cannot go out in the sun, they have red eyes, they bite to kill, like, or to turn. They are the evil in the world. They are the ones that will, like, come after you. So yeah, this world has that sort of complex 3 different types of vampire-esque type creatures. And again, I kind of looked at all my shelves and I was like, I don't really have much creature-y type things. And even then, like, in my vampire books, it's kind of like the vampires aren't necessarily evil, they're just like vampires, and some of them happen to be bad people. So like, these are the only ones where the creature is specifically evil that I can think of. Like, the Moroi and Dhampir can be bad people. Like, they are just people, but the Strigoi have this evil in them. They have this, it's not like demonic or anything, but they have this evil. They don't have any sort of humanity within them. And so they just indeterminately kill. And yeah, so creature-wise, I mean, I'm looking over there now, I'm just looking, I could also have grabbed any of the Shadowhunter books, because F that for a laugh. But yeah, I've also not talked about Vampire Academy for so long, so I really need to read this again, because I also almost chose this for the book boyfriend tag, because I love Dimitri so much. Like, Dimitri was one of my like favourites before Theo Silva came along. I love Dimitri so much. Anyway, this is not the question. I just went off on a tangent there. But yeah, definitely not want any Moroi under my bed. Or Strigoi. Strigoi are the ones I meant. I definitely do not want any Strigoi under my bed. So there is the tag video. I will tag, like I said, Becca down below. I will also tag or put the original creator down below, and anybody else that I've spoken about, as always, will be down in the description. Let me know if you have read any of the books. Let me know if you're going to do this tag. I am not going to tag anybody because I'm always rubbish at tagging people in tags. So I'm just going to continue to be crap at doing that. But yeah, if you do this tag, please tag me, tag Becca, and let us know. Thanks again, Becca, for doing this right in the nick of time for me to swoop in and steal this when I needed videos. You are my hero, and I love you dearly. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!